Add your wooden skewers to water. This will stop them from burning, hopefully. Now just push them aside and let them soak for an hour before you subject them to heat. This is the part where you want to glove up, because we're now onto the chicken part, and you're going to need 1 kilogram of boneless and skinless chicken thighs. Like these ones I picked up from the team out at Gippsland Premium Meats. The only prep needed is to dice them into 3 centimetre pieces. And I find cutting each thigh into 6 pieces generally does it. And once they're all cubed up, pop these aside. Grab a non-reactive bowl, and into it you want to add the following ingredients. 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1/4 cup of white wine, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of lemon zest, 2 cloves of minced garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes, 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, not oregano, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Whisk it up really good for about 30 seconds. And then add all of the chicken pieces and mix them all through, making sure every piece of chicken is coated. And then we're going to cover this with cling wrap, and we're going to pop it in the fridge for an hour. And that's going to be enough time for all of those flavours to penetrate and change that mild taste that chicken has. If you're not taking the time to bath your chicken in yummy goodness, that should be illegal. A non-reactive bowl is one not made out of metal. Because we're using citrus, that will react to metal. So use a glass or a plastic one. While the chicken is basting away in the fridge, we can make a start on the outer coating for it. So into another bowl, you want to add the following ingredients. 2/3 cup of Italian breadcrumbs, 2/3 cup of panko breadcrumbs, 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and then just give that a good mix up. And then after 1 hour of basting in the fridge, we can place our chicken pieces into the coating mix and mix them up well. And I like to use a little bit of pressure as I keep flipping the pieces over. It just helps the crumbs stick. And don't forget, there's going to be loose crumbs down the bottom of that bowl, and you want to get them on top. You want to use all of it. And once you're happy with the coating on the chicken pieces, you want to thread the pieces of chicken onto your waterlogged skewers. And we're going to try and keep them roughly the same size, placing them all on a baking paper lined tray. And then we can put these into the fridge until we're ready to cook them. Today I'm using a 57 centimetre Weber kettle, and I'm pairing it up with a kettle cone and heat beads original briquettes, because I want to be cooking indirectly with a heat of 240 degrees Celsius today. How I'll do that is by placing the kettle cone in the middle of the charcoal grate. Then I'll 3/4 fill the chimney starter up with unlit briquettes. I'll light them up, and once they're fully ashed over, I'll dump them into the kettle cone. Don't forget to carefully put your grill back in place. Then I'll pop the lid back on, opening all the vents, and we're going to give that grill 10 minutes to warm up. Hey Weber, a chop out on some new grills would be really nice. Mine seem to be dented and all bent. Cooking time for this recipe will be 30 minutes, or for those of you who love to follow my beer timer, you're looking at a 1 beer cook. Cheers. Once the grill's had 10 minutes to warm up, we can give it a light spray with some cooking oil. This is going to do 2 things. Clearly it's going to make the grill smoke, but as heat expands, it opens up all the pores. And by spraying on the oil, we fill up those pores. And guess what? Voila! We've just created a non-stick cooking surface. We'll also give the skewers a light spray of the cooking oil. And don't forget, we're going to flip them over and spray the other side as well. Now this is just going to help that coating to crisp up a bit, and it's going to help them brown as well. And once you have everything oiled up, we can get the skewers on the grill. Just going to place them around the outer part of that cooking grill, as this is where that high heat from that kettle cone is being forced. And we are essentially air frying these. And because we are using a high indirect heat, we'll avoid any fat flare-ups that you get from cooking over charcoal. Pop the lid back on and go and amuse yourself. Well, if you didn't know, the Weber lid vent creates a hot spot. As the cold oxygen is sucked in through the bowl vents up and around our fuel, it is then forced back out through this lid vent. So to ensure that you get an even cook, I recommend you turn the lid a third of the way every 10 minutes during the cook. If spinning your lid seems like a little bit too much trouble, you can always spin the bowl. The chicken is nearly ready to come off the grill, so we need to make a finishing sauce. I've melted 50 grams of unsalted butter into this jug. To this, I'll add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 2 cloves of garlic that have been minced, and 2 teaspoons of finely chopped parsley. I'll stir this up and put it aside. The chicken is done, but how do we know? By checking it with an instant read thermometer, and once it's reading over 74 degrees Celsius, we know it's ready to come off, and we can class it as no death chicken. Oh, if you don't think that doesn't look amazing, what's wrong with you? We just now want to place the chicken skewers onto a serving platter. Chicken goodness. And now we're just going to drizzle over that lemon and butter sauce. Oh, look at that. Now we're just going to cut one of these open, and it's still perfectly moist. No need to wait, just eat them.